In total, if you guys take a look over here, basically, first what I did is first I called for this particular function. Okay, so my message is the name of the function. And once this is called here, what it will do is once I've called this my message, it will just run this particular function. Hello everyone, and welcome you all to another chapter of the Flutter tutorial. So now we are on our chapter number 10, where we'll be learning about the app bar. So over here, the first question that we are going to ask is where the app bar is situated. Okay. So app bar is mostly the topmost component of the application. Okay. Like once we open application or if we have a page of an application, which is activity. Okay. So it's mostly present on the topmost side. Okay. There we do have a lot of things what we are going to see. So now we will look into what are the components that are present inside the app bar. Okay. So app bar can basically have a list of widgets. Okay. Which are different kind of component. Okay. It can be a text. It can be an icon. Okay. It can be an image, which are basically to be displayed. Okay. And also, once you have those icon and once you have those widgets, it can also set different action to those widgets. Okay. So once you click on that particular component, it will redirect you to some page or it will basically do some kind of action, which we are going to see once we move deep into our classes. Okay. And also on the app bar, you can display the title or the name of the application. Okay. So if you do want to display the title of a particular application or the title of the page or the title of the activity, you guys can also show that over there in the app bar as well. Okay. And also in the app bar, we can also choose that what is going to be the color of the particular app bar. Okay, you can choose from a variety of colors. If you do have a particular color in mind, so using the color code, you guys can also change the color of the app bar. Okay, and also, you will be able to set the Z coordinate on where the app bar will be placed. Okay. So what it means is that you will be able to handle the elevation. Okay. Like, uh, will it be flat or will it be a little bit elevated? You guys can also manage that particular thing. Okay. And after that, we are going to learn about the shaping the app bar and also managing its shadow. Okay, so you can also check how you do gonna shape the app bar and also how you are going to manage its shadow. Okay, so on the app bar, how the shadow is going to be, you are going to manage that. Okay, so we are going to learn about all of these things over here. And once I show you guys practically of how it actually works, you guys will be understand or you guys will be able to understand this particular thing in a better way. So let's first move into our class. So in our last class, we do have seen a lot of components of the scaffold. Okay, so we have learned that what are the components. So there was the floating button, the tab navigation, the drawer, the end drawer. But here we are going to learn about app bar particularly. Okay, so first, how you are going to add out a title. Okay, so here you guys can see I do have this option of app bar, then colon, then I did also write the app bar over here. And let's click on enter, and automatically you guys can see this have turned into a comment, and it's showing me, well, this is an app bar. So now you guys can actually add the component that you do want to add. Okay. So the first component, what I'm going to put is basically a title. Okay. So I will just add out a title over here, and I'm going to turn this into a text. Okay. So my title is basically going to be a text. Let's open parenthesis over here. Now let's open the double quote. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically give my app bar a title. Okay, so what can I do? Or what title can I give? Let's say I will just type grocery store. Okay, so I will just add this title. And this is just an example. Okay, so once I have written that, and also what I'm going to do is I'm going to select a device and I'm going to run this as well. So let's select Chrome Wave and let's click on run, and let's see what is the result that I'll get. I'm not owning an emulator because it will just put a lot of pressure on my PC, but it does work the same way. Okay, so I'll just wait for it to open. And also I'll just keep both those screens side by side, that any changes I make will automatically visible. Okay, like each and every time I don't have to show you guys about that. So here, let's wait for a while it is making, actually trying to make a connection. Okay, so as you guys can see here, this particular thing is getting loaded. And let me just fix the size. Okay, so from the side and from the bottom, let's minimize this over here as well. Let me just keep this one in one side. Let me just bring it right over here. Okay, let me just come here, and let me just place it exactly on the side. So as you guys can see over here, I do have mentioned that I want to get a app bar, and there you guys can see I do have my title grocery store right here itself. Okay. And after that, now what you guys can do is you guys can also select that what is going to be the background color. Okay. So after that, I'll just click on enter and I will just type background color. Okay, and in background color, now if I just click or if I just type colors, let's say, okay, so I'll just type colors, then I will just put full stop, and once I click on the full stop here, you guys can see that I do have a variety of options of colors that I can basically choose. Okay, so there is green, there is amber, okay, there is gray, lime, okay, there is a lot of options from basically which I can choose from. Okay, so you guys can just take any colors according to your liking from here. And also we're gonna learn that how you're going to customize the color. Okay, so in our last class, I have actually showed you how you can work on with the custom color using the color code. Okay, so if I just go with this orange accent, okay, so you can come here and basically you guys can work with this orange accent. And if you just want to go with this reload over here, you guys can see that now I do have orange color on my app bar. Okay, so that is how you guys can actually change the color. Let's say if I do want to give this one up a different color instead of orange, let's go with a red accent. And now if I just flutter this front here, this is how it will basically look. Okay, so let's come over here. Now let's click on enter, and now I am done showing you guys how to change, how to add a title in your app bar, how you can actually put out a background color to it. And now the next thing is that I will show you guys how you can actually put out title spacing. Okay. So if you just take a look, you guys can see the spacing between each letter is not much. Okay, if you do want to increase the letter spacing or the title spacing, or basically the title spacing maybe from the left hand side. Okay, so now my title is a lot on the left hand side. What I can do is I can just type title spacing. Okay, so I'll just type title spacing right over here, and I can just give out a number. Okay, let's put up some big numbers. Let's go with 50. Okay, and after that, if I just flutter the hot reload, you guys can see it is just leaving up a lot of space on the left hand side. And the same way, if I just go with a 250, and if I just flutter hot reload, you guys can see you are not able to see it anywhere because it just went out. Okay, so the same way if I just put 30, and now let's run this again. Here you guys can see the changes over here as well. Okay, so that's how you guys can work with the title spacing option right over here as well. Okay, so that is about it. And now the next thing is that as you guys can see my toolbar right over here, you can also specify that how long your toolbar is going to be or what is going to be the width of your toolbar. You guys can also select that. Okay, so for that now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come here. Let's click on enter, and I'll just type title, or let's go with toolbar height. Okay, so I'll just select this toolbar height, and I can just add out any numbers. Let's go with 120. Okay, so if I just put 120, and if I just run the hot reload, you guys can see the width of the toolbar has basically changed. And the same way, if I just go with 400, and if I just click on Flutter Hot Reload, you guys can see how long this toolbar basically looks. So normally what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to put out 50, and let's see how it actually looks. Totally depends on how you basically do wanna work. Okay, or let me just go with 70. Okay, and here 70 quite looks like this, and you guys can work with this as well. Okay, so I'll just keep the toolbar height at 70. Let's click on enter, and now I am going to show you guys about another option in the app bar, which is known as the toolbar opacity. Okay, so the text which I have used right over here, now this is quite visible. Like if you want to make it a bit of faded, okay, you guys can use the particular option known as toolbar opacity. Okay, so let me just type toolbar opacity. Here I already do have the option, and here this particularly is out of 1. Okay, let's say if I just want the least opacity, then I will just go with 0.1. Okay, and once you write 0.1, let's run this one, and here you guys can is not able to see. Okay, so from here if I just go with 0.5, and let's from here, you guys can see now the particular text is visible by 50%. Okay, and if I just put 1 over here, and if I just run this thing, you guys can see the opacity didn't change at all. Okay, so the max is 1, and the least opacity that you guys can use is zero point 0.1. Okay, so it basically varies from 0 to 1. Okay, so that is like 0 to 100, kind of like that. Okay, like 0.1 is 10%, 0.2 is 20%, 0.5 is 50% opacity. So it kind of works like that. So we do have learned about title, about how you can actually change the background color. We have learned about the title spacing. We have learned about the toolbar height. And also we have learned about the toolbar opacity. Okay. So the next thing we are going to learn is we're going to learn about the elevation. Okay. So what is elevation? Okay. So here you guys can see my particular app bar is now quite flat. So if you want to give them out any kind of effect, which will show that this is kind of elevated. So in that case, what you're gonna do right over here is you are going to type elevation. Okay. So here you guys can see I do have the option. And under elevation first, let me just give 10. And now let's run this one. And here you guys can see a bit of elevation, but the same way, let's go with 200 and let's run this thing again. And you guys can see this one looks a bit more elevated. Okay, so let's go with 700 over here and let's run this one. And you guys can see this particular thing looks a bit more elevated as well. Okay, so for me, by default, I'll just keep the elevation as 0. Okay, so I'll just keep the elevation as 0, and you can also see the shadows also matters when you're working with elevation. So let's run this one. Let's keep it quite like this. And the next thing we are going to learn is that over here we have actually created the title, the background color, the title spacing, the toolbar height, the opacity of the toolbar, and also the elevation. So the next thing what we will be doing over here is I am going to put out some of the icons. Okay, so I'll show you guys how you can actually put out different kind of icons over here. So to put out different kind of icons, the first thing that we are going to do is I'm going to write the keyword known as action. Okay, so once I write actions, you guys can see that this is also an array. Okay, so let's come here, let's click on enter, and after that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write here icon button. Okay, so there are different kind of presets that we guys can use over here. So to add this icon right over here, now I'm going to type icon button. Okay, so let's go with icon button right over here, and let's go with icon button. And once you create this particular thing right over here, we need to understand that we are going to work with two different things. Okay, so the first one inside the icon button is onPress. So this means that once you press the particular icon that you're going to set, what is going to happen? Okay. And the next option is icon, which will basically say that what icon will be displayed right over here. So first we are going to focus on how you can basically set an icon on the app bar. Okay. So to set up icon, now let's come here on the icon option. I am going to open parenthesis. Okay. And after opening up parenthesis, now I'm going to use different kind of icons which I already do have inside Flutter. Okay. So I'll just type icon. Then I will just put out a dot. And as you guys can see, once I have put on icons and dot, there are all of these options. Okay, so also you guys can see that I do have all these icons right over here. Okay, so you guys can just select one. Okay, and after that, I'll just put out a comma over here. And now, let's select all of this using Control C. Now let's click on Enter, Control V, Enter, Control V, and also I'll just click on Enter, Control V right over here. And as you guys can see, now I do have all of these four icons. So if I just run the hot reload, okay, so over here, there is some problem, okay, where so the argument type icon data can't be assigned to the parameter type widget. Okay, so icon data is from failed to recompile application, icon beta press on press, icon, or I need to just type over here icon again. Okay, so I also need to mention icon over here. Okay, so let's type icon, and I'll also mention icon over here. So I will just go with icon the same way uh, over here. I'll just type icon, and also right over here I will just type icon. Okay, so let's open parenthesis. So here now, most probably it should work because inside icon, I do have to give the command of icons. And after that, I need to make sure that I put my desired icons using icons dot. Okay. So kind of same like this color. Okay. So Control S to save it. Okay. And let's try to run this thing. And here also you guys can see the getter onPress isn't defined for the class home activity. Okay, home activity is from package.application. Okay, so I'm just showing you guys that these are the type of problems that you guys might face while you're working. Okay, so as I didn't have saved anything or I don't want anything to come once I press. So for that, I'm going to keep the open parenthesis and then I will just put on the curly braces as well. Okay, so open parenthesis or let's delete over here, and also I will just put out the curly braces, uh, backspace, open parenthesis, the curly braces over here, uh, open parenthesis, and curly braces, curly braces. Okay, so I'm not putting on any function yet. Okay, over here. So I'll just keep it quite like this. Control S to save it. Okay, and you guys can see over here on my screen on the right hand side, there is these four icons. Okay, so if I just place or if I just press these icons right now, nothing is basically happening. But I do want all these four icons to be the same icon. Okay, so I need to make changes right over here. So let's come here individually and I will just type icon dot, and here I do have a lot of options. Okay, so basically from here I can just check what I do want to take. Okay, so let me just take this one. And again, let's come here and I will just put icon dot, and I can just come down over here as well. As you guys can see, Here you do have this account rounded circle. Okay. So over here you do have this add box. Okay. So let me just put this outline add box over here and let me just change it. Let me just put dot and also you guys can just come down and you can also add all of these options. Okay. So if you do want to add the call option, you guys can come here and you guys can add the call options as well. So I'll just click on Control F and over here, you guys can see that the icons over here have basically been changed. Okay, so over here I do have the account balance icon, I do have the accessibility new sharp icon, I do have the add box outline, and over here I do have the add call icon as well. Okay, so if you just open in full screen, this is how it looks, but in mobile it might look a bit different. Okay, but that's why I have placed it quite like this. And if you do want me to increase the size, you guys can see, you guys can increase the size right over here as well. So as you guys can see now, once I'm pressing this, nothing is happening because over here I didn't put out any action. So now we are going to learn that once you click, okay, like once you click on all of these icons, I want a message to basically pop up. Okay, so just to show you guys that if you set any action, it will basically do. Okay, like once you click on a particular icon or once you click on a particular button, some kind of pop-up messages just come and then it disappears. I'm gonna add something like this to it. So let's see how it's basically done. And yeah, I hope you guys have understood till this part about the app bar. But now we're gonna learn about uh, the action of your icons as well. So now over here, what I'm going to do is basically I need to create up a function. Okay. So instead writing a function, I can also just come up right over here and I can basically start or basically put a function. But what it will basically do is it will just make this area a bit more complicated. Okay. So it will make it a bit crowdy. But instead, what I can do is, as you guys can see, I'm over here in the home activity class. I can actually create a function. Okay. So to create a function, what you guys can do is you guys can just type my message. And after that, now let's open up the square bracket. And over here, I want to basically create two parameters. Okay. So the first parameter is going to be the message and the next parameter is basically going to be the context about which I am going to write. So I will just type message. I'll just give a comma and I will just type context. And after that, I will open up my curly braces. Okay. So let's open out the curly braces and over here I am going to use my semicolon and let's come here, let's click on enter and the next thing what I'm gonna do is let's come here, let's just delete this, let's keep my cursor over here and I'm going to use a default text what I should be using over here. So that is scaffold messenger. So if I just type scaffold, and here you guys can see I do have the function which is scaffold messenger. And once I have added scaffold messenger, I will just put dot and I will just type off. Okay, so as you guys can see, off, then I will just open parenthesis. And inside the parenthesis, you guys can see over here, I am going to put my build context. Okay, so if you guys take a look here in this particular widget, so inside this build widget, I do have this parameter which is the build context. Okay, so over here first I have added the message parameter, then I do have added the context. Okay, so the same way after the scaffold dot of function, over here I am going to use the context parameter. Okay, so let's go with context, and after that, after context, let's put out a dot, and now I am going to type show snack bar. Okay, so this is another parameter that I need to use, and inside this show snack bar parameter, now let's click on enter, and inside this, or let me just come here and first let me just close this with a semicolon, and after that let's come here, and I'm going to come here, and now I am going to name another parameter which is the snack bar, basically the message, and inside the content option, okay, so now I do have mentioned the content. Okay, so I want my messages to be in a text format. Okay, so firstly, I need to mention it that my content over here will be in format of a text. So let's come here, and after that, I am going to mention message. Okay, so this is going to be the string data. Okay, so I will just come right over here. Then I do have the square bracket. And if you just take a look now, so anytime over here I do call my message function, what it will do is it will come here into the scaffold messenger, and it will first go on to the context, and after that here in the snack bar, first it will show me the content as text, and over here now once I add this parameter right here, it will show me whatever content I put in. Okay, so anytime I call this particular function over here in the icon button, it will show me the messages, or this particular function will basically get run. Okay, so now let's come here, and what I can do is I will just first mention the name. So let's come here, and this is the curly braces, and the name of my function is my message. Okay, so I will just type my message. Okay, so here you guys can see, so my message, and afterwards over here in my messages, I will open the double quotation, and inside the double quotation here, as you guys can see, uh, I will just type this is the home icon. Okay, so I want this to be visible, and the same way again, what I'm going to do here is I will just copy this whole thing. Okay, so I will just copy this, Control C and Control V. Okay, so the same way, Control V and Control V right over here as well. Okay, so as you guys can see, I do have this particular thing right over here. Let's go with the semicolon, and over here I'm going to put out the semicolon as well. Same goes with this, the semicolon, and the semicolon right over here. So what I did wrong over here is basically I deleted the curly braces. So now this is fine. Okay. So for this particular icon, I can just come here and I will just type any text. Okay, so I will just type. Once it is pressed, it should show me uh, how can I help you. Okay, so let me then how can I help you. Okay, and also I can just add a question mark, and after that you can add your note. I will just type you can add your note, and after that I will just type you can join us in the conference call. Okay, so you can join us in the conference call. So in total, if you guys take a look over here, basically, first what I did is first I called for this particular function. Okay, so my message is the name of the function. And once this is called here, what it will do is once I've called this my message, it will just run this particular function. And once it runs this particular function, here you guys can see that I do have my text right over here. Okay, so now if you take a look, if I just click, okay, so here now you guys can see if I just click on the home icon, here it shows that this is the home icon. Okay. And if I just click on the second icon, it shows how can I help you. And once I click on the third icon, you can see you can add your note. Text is there. And lastly, if I just click on this icon, here it shows you can join us in the conference call. Okay. So that's how you guys can add an action to your icon present in the app bar. Okay. So I hope this particular class was clear for you all on how to actually work in or how you can actually work on putting some action on your icon in the application bar. So I hope to see you all in the next chapter where we're going to learn and explore more about Flutter and its icon. So see you all in the next chapter. Till then, take care and goodbye everyone.